Well, aviation is one of the worst hit sectors around the world due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Here in Nigeria, flight restrictions and a significant drop in passenger traffic has left many airlines counting losses. But there's optimism for quick recovery of the industry, even though international travel remains at an all-time low. Correspondent Uche Okoro reports.
In January 2020, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority put all airline operators on high alert over the outbreak of coronavirus in China. This prompted the Port Harcourt International Airport to set in motion its safety protocol for overseas travel as mandated by the regulatory body. These passengers arriving from Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, were compelled to provide a travel history and present themselves for thorough COVID-19 screening by port health officials. Passengers from other destinations were also subjected to similar precautions in airports around the country.
Traveling to most of these countries now, except when necessary. Otherwise, we've been told to remain.
On the 20th of March 2020, a Turkish airline winging its way to Istanbul became the last flight out of the international terminal.
By tomorrow, Saturday, from the early hours of Saturday, there won't be international flight until further notice.
2 days later, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority extended the restriction of the nation's airspace to the Murtala Mohammed Airport, Lagos, and the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. All these took effect with the exemption of emergency and essential flights. As the number of positive cases continued to rise alongside the death toll, the resumption of commercial international flights was pushed forward by 2 weeks from the 23rd of April to the 7th of May 2020. But on the 1st of June, the regulators again dashed hopes of resumption by extending the timeline indefinitely. The resumption of domestic flight operations at the Port Harcourt International Airport in July 2020 enabled the authorities to implement and evaluate new aviation safety regulations in view of the coronavirus pandemic. After close scrutiny of domestic travel, the government eventually lifted the embargo on international flights in September 2020. It, however, affected only airports in the commercial city of Lagos and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
I don't think we should shut down our airspace again. We should continue to. We are doing very, very well. I traveled recently, and the efforts that the airlines and the regulatory authorities have taken is very good.
Despite the closure of airports in Nigeria and other stringent measures taken in aviation, the country is now battling a second wave of the deadly pandemic. The economic impact of the lockdown has also been significant. Experts say the Nigerian aviation sector has been losing 21 billion naira monthly since the outbreak of COVID-19, and more than 200,000 industry jobs in the country are presently at risk. Faced with a new reality, stakeholders are now finding ways to address these challenges brought to the fore by the protracted closure.
Now that most of our airplanes have been grounded, we are going to move our airplanes to Europe to service the aeroplanes. That's right. And that is because our maintenance outfits are not in a position to do C checks for all our airports. So about 95% of our maintenance is done abroad. We should now prepare ourselves so that most of our maintenance will be done in Nigeria.
Amidst the rapidly rising statistics, what does the future hold for the international wing of the Port Harcourt Airport and others in the country that remain closed?
At the moment, what we have in terms of terminal building size, I could describe it as excess capacity. We have excess capacity, face-to-face, on the volume of the passenger we process before the terminal was shut down because of this COVID-19 pandemic.
As governments at all levels struggle to stay ahead of the pandemic, many prospective passengers are wondering how effective the closure and partial reopening of the airports has been, as well as if and when new restrictions will be imposed. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Port Harcourt.